These are the Arctic Archives. I'm Josh Frederico. Today I'm joined by my friends Austyn, Scott, and Randy as we recount an adventure we shared hunting and retrieving a grizzly bear in the spring of 2025. We reflect on the many close calls, lessons learned along the way, and the hair-raising moments when things could have gone wrong. Here's our conversation. Enjoy. All right, so where it begins, I would say like 6:30 Friday morning, late May, last weekend of May, where me and Randy had set up the barrel the week before, came back in Friday morning, checked it, and right away there's like obviously one huge grizzly, and I'm just scrolling through the videos, which there was a lot of, and then I see two bears, and I like slow down and watch more carefully, and it's like a boar had come in, then the sow had come in, then the boar had run the sow off, and then they were together. So then it was just like dozens of videos of both bears coming into the barrel. And she's big and pretty, blonde, and he's like noticeably bigger. Actually, to the point that some of the people, like Kevin, my boss, shout out to Kevin, who lined me out on the barrel. I sent him the video. He's like, oh, it's a sow with cub, because the boar was so much bigger than the sow. And I think I sent you asking your opinion too.
Yeah, I had to look at it compared to the barrel.
Yeah, which he's taller than the barrel, standing on all fours. I took a screenshot of him on all fours just the other day for reference, and he's like noticeably taller than the barrel.
Right.
So we got all excited, like, oh, they're coming in. We had a pattern, they're coming in every night at like, I think it was 8 for a couple hours, and then coming back at like 11 or midnight for a couple hours, but consistently for the 3 nights prior. So I was like, okay, we need to hunt them tonight. So we come back to town, grab our stuff. I actually went by Fish and Game, showed them, because I was like, I didn't want to hunt a sow with cubs, and I didn't know. So I was like, I need to make sure I'm not worrying about this the whole time, and showed it to them, and they're like, well, make your call, but we think it's a boar and a sow. So I was like, okay, cool. So we go back out, we sit down, I believe it was around 7. And by sit down, I mean there was a tree that had tipped over, so we're kind of behind their root ball in like black lawn chairs, like patio chairs. And then we're about 60 yards from the barrel with a clear shot to it. And then we just sit and we wait. And mosquitoes are terrible, but I'm super, super excited because I want to get this bear. And 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock rolls around, nothing at all. I'm like, what's going on? Where are they? I don't hear any movement or anything. And then I'm trying to remember, I think it was between 10 and 11 when I like randomly looked up behind me, and then that's when I saw that first bear, which was a grizzly, but solid white. Like I think it looked like about the color and shade of a mountain goat. They're like probably blonde, but just like super, super, super light. So like a white colored grizzly. So then I try to tell Randy, who's listening to something, I think. So he's like, Randy's between me and the bear, and then I ranged it later, and the bear was like 9.5 yards behind us, and I had no idea it was snuck up there. Randy's even closer, and when I turn and look at it, it like spooks and hisses and jumps out a little bit. But I wanted Randy to see it, so I was like trying to get Randy's attention, like waving, like, hey, Randy, look. And he's just like locked onto the barrel, listening to whatever that he is. And
so was this the sow?
This was a totally different bear. Yeah. Totally like a third grizzly I didn't know was in the area. Never came to the barrel. I had no idea it was around. I just happened to look up, and he or she, I don't know which, was right behind us.
So do you think it was like really blonde and like just the light shining on it made it look even
whiter?
whiter?
It was nighttime.
White, dude.
It was
white.
Yeah, it was like
so. The videos that we got, everything that we had, like every single video, they were coming from down the hill up to the barrel. So I'm locked on, right? Zoned out, eating my snacks, like sitting there.
Another detail.
Like sitting there, just like locked on the barrel, and like I hear a twig snap, and like I look over and I don't see anything, and I look back to the barrel, and then I see like Josh like waving at me, and I look over at him, and I look back, and like when I saw it, my first thought was, who the f has their dog out here? Because it looked like a Great Pyramids. Like it looked, it was that white.
It was white.
Like it didn't click to me that a bear would be that white. And like there's like another barrel like a mile and a half, 2 miles away or whatever. I'm like, are these people like running their dogs? And like it looked back at me, and like all thoughts of it being a dog like dispelled. I was like,
Yeah.
and yeah, it just like kind of like ran off. But like this thing was, I mean, it wasn't as big as the one that we ended up getting or the sow that was with it, but like it was big.
I'd put it
And
probably.
it did not make a sound.
Yeah.
And it came up like right behind us.
Yeah.
Like it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd say, and I'm not great with judging bears' ages, but I'd say 4 years old. So not big yet. Like you said, smaller than the sow.
it was
but
probably like it probably just left the sow.
Yeah.
Like it
First
probably
or
just
second
left
year
the
off
small.
mom.
yeah, something like that. So, but super cool. Super cool. Really,
Was there
really
ever
pretty.
a point that you were wondering if polar bears were migrating into the interior?
No, it wasn't like it wasn't that because like it was white, but like when it turned around, like it had that like it was like that's a bear.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
But the paws were dark.
But yeah, it wasn't like, you know, polar bear or anything. It was just like, oh wow, that's like, you know, I knew it was a blonde bear. I was like, wow, that's like the blondest bear I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Super cool. I don't think it was light shining off it just because it was, like I said, I think 11
yeah,
at night at that point.
well, no,
So-
that one was the first one, so it was like 9:30 or 10, like because it was about an hour before
the
yours came in.
others showed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which at that point, I think, like you mentioned, I think we were into like 1 or 2 cans of mini Doritos and a bag of beef jerky, a couple of energy drinks. So, like, not a low scent profile for sure.
Yeah, you guys are
trying to call him.
fearless.
Yeah.
One for sitting in lawn chairs, but then breaking out the snacks in the middle of it. Like I'm not gonna lie, when I go out to a barrel, I'm kind of butt puckered knowing that I'm going to where the bears are, and I'm pretty on guard just walking out
That
there.
should have
Man,
been.
we were
That should have
blissfully
been.
naive at
Yeah.
this point.
Naive. So
So much
when
so.
Scott and I, our first year up here, we set up that tree stand. We had no idea. Coming from North Dakota,
Oh.
we don't have bears.
Yeah.
So like we put up the first tree stand, and I'm looking, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, I think we should put this up higher. Scott's like, well, why? And I'm like, a grizzly could stand up and
Yeah.
smack the bottom of our
Yeah.
stand. Then we're like, oh, okay. And since then, it's always been. Last year was the first year you could hunt grizzly over bear bait in 20D, but I've always been on edge until I get up into that tree stand that's well above everything.
Yeah.
On a very thick tree,
Yeah.
and just because I know how quiet they are.
Yeah.
And even that big one we had the last year that you were here, like it was sitting right out there when we were walking up. We had no idea, and there's this big old grizzly just hanging out there. And took off.
Yeah. Yeah. We found out because going in, we were just like, I don't know. It's like the feeling of you're going into maybe a good whitetail area and you know there's a good buck around. Like that's how we felt. We're like, this is so cool. Like we're going to maybe get him, adventure. And we're sitting on the ground and
And you knew
And,
exactly
like, I
where he was
think-
coming
yeah,
from.
like he's
and-
definitely going to do what he's been doing every night for sure.
Like I think my thought going into it was like I'm so used to like Valdez bears and things like that, like where you just go like watch them and it's like cool and like you're out in the open and
Yeah.
like whatever. Like I didn't realize like until it happened like there's not anywhere that I can really run here without falling over myself. Like. And this bear is not fattened up on all these salmon that are just laying there. He's hungry, looking for food.
Yeah, it feels,
and here I am. Like, I don't think that part clicked until after. Like,
Yeah.
I that part didn't really click until probably like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
When we were still looking for him, and I was like, oh wait, like he's moving around, being very loud, like when he wants to be.
Totally. Like when they like that one, and then they're super quiet. And for me, like I didn't actually feel afraid. Like I should have felt afraid going into it in the first place. I didn't actually feel afraid until I went to sleep the night after. And then for some reason, when I laid down, it was like, oh wow, that was actually really sketchy. Especially like our decisions after things happened. So, but yeah, so first bear sneaks up behind us. spooks run, super cool. Got to see something. And then continue sitting, and it's like getting colder, and mosquitoes are terrible, terrible, terrible there. And then it was 1 or just before 1 in the morning where I looked up again for no particular reason, and in the exact same spot as the white bear, it like 9.5 yards behind us, like I look up and there's this giant silhouette of that like dark brown boar head looking at us, and I make eye contact with that blonde sow who was standing kind of behind him, so her head was poking out, and I like made eye contact with her, just like jet black eyes, huge blonde face, and then the boar, which is bigger than her, and they're like 9.5 yards behind. And again, me being naive and everything, it felt like opportunity. I wasn't even scared then. Like I should have been, but I was like, oh, they're here. Here it is. We get to. So I pull my gun up, and I had another mistake was like my rifle choice had that 5x25 scope on it. So I pull my gun up. I tried to hold around his shoulder, and I pulled the trigger, and it just goes click. I was like, oh, what's going on? And those TK actions are real smooth, so I bumped it in my rush, and it popped open a little bit. So at this point, the bear like woofed and hopped out like once or twice, and now he's at like 20 yards. And so I like put the action back down, pulled up, tried to find his shoulder again, and I'm freaked out he's going to spook, which probably would have. And I let off 1 shot, and it obviously hits him because he like drops down on the ground, starts rolling around, and he's roaring super, super loud, and he's like 20 yards from us, and the sow is just watching him like, what is going on? So I rock another one in, I step out closer to him, and both bears like run off down the trail another 20-ish yards, and then same thing, the boar just like starts rolling on the ground, roaring super, super loud and crazy to hear it that close. I let off 1 more Hail Mary shot, which like Randy was pretty sure it hit. I think it missed, but I could just see he was kind of going around a turn, and I could just see like his head and hump. And I wanted to get 1 more in, so I just kind of guessed, and I don't know. I think it probably missed, but at that point, the boar splits off down the hill through nasty thick brush. The sow takes off away from him, and I just see her brush breaking and brush breaking and brush breaking farther and farther down the hill. But like at that point, we're standing there. This all happens super fast, and like my hands are shaking, and like that suspense of like I know I hit him, but he's a long ways away now.
So what time of night was this?
1 in the morning.
Yeah.
So you probably got some twilight.
Yeah, it
this
was
the
like
end of May?
At that point it was light all night. It's just
Yeah,
dusky
like,
that
'cause
time
it was,
of
yeah,
night.
it was, what, the 2nd week of June?
No, this was May. So well, technically this would have been May 31st, being after midnight. So
Yeah, because Dallas's birthday was that day.
right, yeah. So that comes up later. So at that point we're standing there, and I didn't know, do we chase him or do you let him bed and die? And we kind of dinked around for like 20 minutes, followed the sow's tracks for a little bit, and then came back, and we're like, well, let's just go. And by go means starting to go downhill in like thick canopy, nasty brush, and it's already dark out because of the time. And we go down, we're kind of wandering around where we knew he had entered, and then Randy finds blood. And so from basically there till 5:30 in the morning, we're following the blood trail downhill, just like nasty thick brush you shouldn't be in. And I, again, being naive, I felt like I was the predator. I was pursuing him is how I felt.
Crazy, like every 15 feet, there's like just a massive root fall that it could be right behind. It's like,
Yeah.
So you guys track
Contacted
this.
us later. You left those parts out of the conversation.
Not in, yeah.
So you tracked it for like 4 hours going downhill.
Yeah, downhill through the brush, and he would zigzag. It would be like blood on both sides of where he had walked or ran or whatever, and then it would be just like a speck, and then we'd lose it and have to like circle with flashlights because it was dark enough for that, and then find it again, and then he would. It was kind of erratic. He didn't run straight downhill. He would like run this way and then make a sharp turn and run like between 2 trees when there was a better way around. He'd run. It was really strange the way he was running. But we kept coming up on beds where he had bedded down, and obviously we had spooked him out. So again, that should have been something to disturb us. But besides minor precautions, like, okay, keep the guns ready. we weren't all that concerned.
Bolt actions with 3 shots.
Yeah, long barrels. But eventually we get all the way down to the bottom of the hill mountain and get to the valley. The brush changes from like the trees and brush and everything to like, would it be alders, I guess, down there, marshy, tall grass and stuff. And this blood trail goes to a creek. It turns left, and then we lose it. And on the other side of the creek, up on the hill, it was like this boulder field and everything. So we thought, well, if we get up on the boulders, maybe we can see down into this valley a little bit better. And we know he went that direction, so maybe we'll see embedded or something. So we get across the small creek, up on the rocks, and we don't see anything. And at that point, I think it was, what time was it, 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
We're about 5 in the morning, so.
So you got good daylight at that point?
Yeah, we had good daylight at that point, just going off adrenaline, been running all night and everything.
And like at that point, like every step I took on those rocks, like both joints were just like,
Yeah.
I was just so dehydrated. I don't think I brought any water down that hill.
No, I actually,
Mountain Dew
good point. I didn't bring
Doritos.
anything. That's funny. Yeah. So we didn't see him anywhere. Randy had a commitment in town. His kid had a birthday, and I was of the opinion we should finally just like let him bed and bleed out because he'd been wanting to bed. So we decided, okay, we'll leave. Randy can go to his kid's birthday, then we'll come back. And we know he went this direction, so we'll just pick up where we left off and hopefully find him, bled out. So we come off the rocks, cross the creek, go to leave, and we find the blood trail, like a lot of blood compared to what we've been following, in a weird spot where we wouldn't have expected it to be. So again, us being intelligent, we split up, and I followed the new blood trail. Randy followed it back the other way, and it turned out he had done a loop. Like he had gone down, hit the creek, turned left, and then done a loop. And I don't know if it was just, again, random movement or if it had something to do with us being close, and maybe at that point he was doubling back on us, but we happened to cross the creek, and so he missed us, or maybe we crossed the creek, kind of got ahead of him, and he turned because he saw us or up on the rocks or something. I'm not sure, but we got lucky in finding that. We started following it the opposite direction up the valley, and there was a lot of blood, and then we got close enough where we finally like heard him running off. Like Randy's pretty sure he got a glimpse of him, but we definitely heard like branches breaking and him moving, trying to get away. Thankfully away, and we came up to where there was a very, very big root ball and a very, very clear bed with quite a bit of blood in it. And I was like, okay, he was trying to lay down, he's still bleeding. Randy has his time commitment. We should split. So we kind of went back and forth on, we're close to him. Do we keep pushing and catch up, or do we finally leave him and come back later? And I ended up deciding, let's leave him and come back later. Wasn't confident on that, but that's what I decided. So we did. We leave. We come back to town. Randy goes to his kid's birthday party, and we're both complete zombies at this point. And I texted you, and I asked, what did I ask you?
So I had shot my bear the weekend before.
Right.
My grizzly, and I get a message early in the morning, and I was still laying in bed, and Josh messaged me. He's like, hey, how far did your bear go when you shot it? I was like, 100 yards maybe, which roughly. And we're sitting there, and then you're asking me a couple more questions, and it dawned on me. I'm like, Josh, did you wound a bear?
Yeah, I remember that morning. I was living in the basement.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was early morning, like 7, 8.
I'd lost track of time.
Yeah.
My sense of time was off because I'd been up all night. So,
But yeah, I finally connected that. I'm like, Josh, did you wound a bear? It's like, yeah. And that's when I think I called you.
yeah.
And you guys were driving in and to go to the birthday party and try to get everything figured out. And you're like, yeah, we chased it for however many hours. And I'm just like, oh boy. So then we talked for a little bit, and I went and got Scott, who was down in my basement at that time. And we were like, come to the conclusion that we're going to come help you look for this bear later in the afternoon.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about it because I'd just gotten back into town.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks prior, and
Yeah.
the first weekend Austyn shoots a bear, and I'm like,
It was a week prior. So
Yeah.
you had just got there,
yeah.
and then I shot my grizzly. You helped me come out for that one.
Well, I was excited because it
Yeah.
was another grizzly
Adventure.
bear adventure.
Yeah.
2 in 2 weeks.
Right.
And
Wait, did you get yours the very next weekend? Did you do 3 in a row?
it would have been 3 weeks. It was on the solstice.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so it was after, a little ways after. Okay. Yeah, because I remember, well, there's probably a lot I don't remember because how tired I was, but I remember I was back here and I think you called me and you offered help. But
Yeah.
I knew we'd chased him into like, this valley, and I felt like I made a rookie mistake. I should have let him bleed out in the first place because I still thought he would have bled out and expired.
Yeah.
So like I'm laying here, I'm like, I needed a little nap, so I'm trying to nap, and I'm like swatting mosquitoes. Then I hear a mosquito and I go to bump it off my face, and after a while I realize like, oh, I'm in my house. Like these are just phantom mosquitoes. I've just been in them for too long. So I was like trying to nap, and then text with you, and then Randy, and trying to coordinate. You'd offered to help, and I was like, nah. And then later I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So thankfully, I took you guys up on it. I was like, yeah, that would actually be great. So we reconvened. Is it 2 or so in the afternoon?
Yeah. You met at my house. I think we met at my house or something like that. Or
Yep. Yeah, because we were going to take the Argo, I think.
we decided it was too narrow trails.
Yeah, right.
So we just loaded up my 4-wheeler in the back of my white pickup.
And off we went.
Yeah, because we showed up, and Josh was like, "Yeah, he's gonna bring his Argo," and I looked at the Argo, and I was like, "Dude, I don't know if it's gonna make it down that trail."
Yeah, that would have been a terrible call. It was tight on a 4-wheeler, and I'm riding nut to butt with Austyn.
Right.
Yep. I was in my knee brace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that was the
another
other thing.
detail.
Like halfway back, I looked at Josh. I was like, "How is Austyn gonna make it?"
Yeah. So
down
we get to the spot, and our stuff, like our little camp chairs, and or I think maybe our packs or something. Like we had stuff still there where we left.
The Dorito cans too.
Literally, the beef jerky bags and everything were still there, and I laid it out for you. I was like, yeah, we were sitting here. The bears came in here, and you look at me like, wow, he's an idiot.
We were just in
true.
amazement. Like, these guys are wild.
Yeah, we looked at Josh. We were just taking it in because I was like, holy smokes, these guys sat here
On the barrel.
on the barrel waiting for these bears to come in. Like, my
I mean, they were
goodness.
supposed
I
to
was
be
gonna
coming
say.
from up that hill, man.
Yeah, game plan was coming from behind the barrel.
No, hey, we had video evidence.
That
of,
was the pattern.
4 nights in a row.
I start to doubt game cams and like catching everything.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just the way that it was angled that it only caught those movements coming from up the trail.
Right.
Well, either that or more likely they came up that trail, smelled my Doritos and was like, "Hey, let's circle around and see what's up."
Well, that was the other
barrel.
thing I'd wondered hearing about bear behavior and whatnot afterwards from different people. I've never heard them moving around, but most everything was really, really thick, and they had to have been there most of the time.
Yeah.
That we were there, and I don't know. Obviously, if they were circling or trying to get downwind or just in one spot waiting, somehow they did end up coming from a different direction than normal. But in all of that time, I personally never heard movement in the brush at all like that for the several hours that we were there in the quiet. So acclimated to the quiet, I'd never heard any brush movement or anything. But
It was the same for my bear the previous weekend. It was about 11 o'clock.
yeah,
And I'm sitting in a tree stand, and then all of a sudden I just see it.
yeah,
And it came in, and then there was probably a 6 to 8 inch spruce tree that was right there. And just for no reason, the thing just shreds it. Just because it knew it was the big dog in the area. And that was the bear I was after. And it's no different than those ones. I mean,
yeah.
so I got an appreciation now for those.
Yeah.
I had the same experience. I heard one twig snap. I was sitting in there for 6 hours and heard nothing but squirrels. And then, midnight, I hear one twig snap. And that was the only noise this bear made.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Got to the barrel and started, throwing it around to get food out. But they're super stealthy.
Yeah. Which is crazy for as big as they are.
Yeah.
So we get there, we find where we get into the brush and we start going down the hill. And I had there's like little ravines and I'd kind of gone down the wrong one accidentally, but I knew we were going, the right way. And like halfway down, it dawns on me you're in a knee brace. And like, it took me that long to connect the dots. I was like, oh no, Austin's
I had
knee.
my ACL surgery a month and a half prior to that.
Yeah, this was not a smooth trip down.
No.
This is going straight down.
Yep.
It was. So like Josh was all in a hurry. He's getting down there trying to backtrack, and I'm sitting there. I was the last one, and I'm just like, my goodness, I'm on my own here.
Yep.
But I'm just picking through nice and easy, and I'm just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every step, like, well, I'll just go a little bit further, just a little bit.
Yeah, you asked me a couple times, like, how much further is it? I'm like, well, maybe we go over this, and then we're at the bottom. And obviously, like, there's always a little bit more than that when you're there.
1,000 feet to go down. We'll be there.
We're just about there. But I started feeling bad at that point when I realized, like, oh no, his knee's got to be hurting and everything. So, but we did get to the bottom. He turned right since we luckily found out he was going that way. We turned right. I think we might have found some blood, but it had rained, which is another factor.
I
And
was just gonna say,
Yeah.
we were finding we were having trouble trying to get back to those spots that you guys had found with the blood.
Yeah.
And that's what we had decided. We went down to the right because that's where you guys kicked it off last and before you quit. So we followed that. We just kept going for blood, and it was getting hard. We find a little bit here and there,
yeah,
and then it was kind of just we scattered out, picking our way slowly.
very, very slow. And there's multiple times where like I would see you lift your gun and like, get real attentive and I'm like, oh, maybe he's there. And okay, false flag. And then that's happening. And we're kind of looking and looking. The valley was gradually getting narrower. And then so we left. We got to the root ball I'd mentioned earlier where he'd bedded down. There was blood and everything. And did somebody find blood after that? I feel like you probably,
there
or
was a
somebody
little bit
did.
more blood. Like we followed blood from the root ball out closer to the creek.
Yep.
Down, and then like it just kind of stopped there, and then from there you're like, all right, well, let's split up.
Yeah.
And like everybody just kind of like zoned out, boomed, and then like we were all there just alone. And like so I'm walking, I'm like, all right, I saw you guys go this way. I was like, I'll go that way, start pushing up there. So I'm walking in a straight line this way, and then like I think it was Scott that I bumped into. We're all walking and like no one knows where anybody's at. So I told Scott, I was like, I'm going back to where we saw blood, see if I can like circle around and find something else instead of this random.
Yeah, and at that point, then I think me or you, Josh, had found one little speck. So at that point, we just made the decision. Randy, you were back there trying to see if you could see anything else. Mm-hmm. And then us three were going up and just following the creek bed.
Yep.
Yeah, at some point we all got on the same page and formed a line and started just a few steps at a time, looking for blood, looking at each other, taking a few steps.
Yeah, we got to that point.
And then it wasn't long after we got in a line.
Yeah, like I was kind of up on the rise of the right side, and then Scott and Austyn were kind of closer together. And it goes from just like you hear the creek, you hear some birds, a little bit of wind, dead quiet, to all of a sudden, like from me, probably 50 yards, from you guys, how far?
I want to say it was like 30 yards.
30. So it was probably less than that for me because that was pretty close. The brush just like blows up, like trees were starting moving. You hear him just roaring at us, and he'd been running from us the whole night, and he roared when I hit him, but he was roaring because he was hit, and this time he was roaring at us.
That was pretty distinct. And then I was closest over towards the creek.
Yeah, I remember that exact same way. The branches snapping, and we all knew that that's him.
Yeah.
And before we could even discuss it, you hear the roar.
It was that really thin, those really thin black spruce. They're probably 20 foot tall.
Yeah.
And you could just see the tops just rattling, just shaking. And then the bear started roaring. And I was the only one who could see, even a slight glimpse of him coming through all that scrub brush. And I looked over, and none of you guys could see him.
Yeah, there wasn't much time to talk about it.
No,
it was
there
like,
was
do you see him?
talking.
Where is he?
And I could see the bear's head, and I could see the body coming at us. And there was one last little bit of brush that I could see him through. And he was getting ready to come through that, and I knew as soon as he was going to come through that he would see us, and then it would be off to the races.
Yeah.
And again, I'm in a knee brace, so I was the slowest one. So I was a little more
You're the bait.
fight or flight. You know? I seen the bear's head there, and at that point I was like, no, like I know the bear's head's right there, and I pulled up, and that's when I shot, just because I knew he was going to come through there and come get us.
Yeah. No question.
It's like, it's cool to hear like all of these details that you guys got, because like from my perspective, I was probably like 150, 200 yards away, still in the brush, and I hear the roar like, whoa, and then like a second later I hear the shot, and then like 2 seconds later I hear, Randy?
Yeah.
Like,
Where's Randy?
Just all of these details in like that 2 second span. 'Cause, man, it's like I swear, as soon as I heard the roar, I was like, and then I heard the shot, and I was like, oh hey, like hopefully they got him. I didn't hear
hopefully they
anymore.
got him.
There's only one shot. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
But that was our concern, was that the thing went down, and it was wounded again.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell exactly how well I shot it, like how well I hit it.
Yeah.
So that was my fears. And then all of a sudden it's like, shoot, well, we know where us three were, but like, where's Randy?
Where's Randy?
Now it's double pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Randy
we want
gotta
him
walk
being
up on
across
him.
the creek and all of a sudden coming trying to find us.
Right.
Then all of a
That
sudden
was
stumble
the
on
other
the
thing.
bear.
Like, so if I heard that, I was like, "Yep, I'm coming." I'm like trying to make my way up there, and there was a spot where like you had to go into the woods or cross the creek, and I'm like, "Did you guys cross the creek?" No.
Do not
Like,
cross
okay.
the creek. Yeah. So
I'm guessing that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I just remember being from the little rise I was at. I could see where he was because the trees moving. There's like this V of 2 dead trees, and I saw like a little patch of dark that I thought was him, but I didn't want to like shoot him in a bad spot that wasn't lethal and then make him charge because you guys were closer. Like he would have been going for you guys, and I remember it being probably a little bit longer than it actually was time wise, but I was living this or anticipating him blowing up out of the brush, and it's like, can any of us get a beat on him fast enough before he crosses?
I
that
recall
30
that
yards?
few moments too.
Yeah.
And Austin's to my left, and he's like, "Hey, Scott, this next shot's going to be yours, just so you know," because I'm the only one with a reflex sight on my 45-70. I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, dude. I know.
Yeah.
I know it's me."
Well, yeah, because
So I was thinking the same thing. I'm just waiting for this big ball of fur
Yeah,
to bust
come
out
blowing
at
up
5
out of the
yards,
brush.
and we're about to get pummeled.
yeah, because I had switched over my rifle. I've got I can see iron sights underneath. So, but I knew you had the reflex, and then he had the little 45-70. So at that point, I was like, it's be ready, Scott, because the thing's probably gonna see me and come get me.
Yeah, that was a tense moment, but fortunately, you shot him through the neck and out the ass, and that was the end of it.
I just saw him drop, and so I was like, "Oh, that actually was him," because I wasn't sure. And you could see his face a little bit, couldn't you?
Yep, and that's kind of where I knew, like, I was
Where to aim for.
ballpark hitting him.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen his nose through that little bit of brush, and it was right at the very end. He was getting ready to come right through there.
Yep.
And I haven't seen him walk a little bit towards us anyways, because there was that little, later on we seen it, there was the bed he had nestled in, and he quit bleeding.
Yeah.
And then when he started roaring, there was probably 10, I don't know, from 10, 15 feet where he'd come towards us.
Yeah.
And that's where I could see it afterwards. Now I could piece it together. Like I seen the brown coming towards us, and he wasn't walking like fast or anything, but he was walking towards us, roaring, trying to, like, I don't know if it was a last ditch effort to scare us off. And then
Well, I mean, it was intimidating.
kind of recouped himself, and then I was like, nope, that's what I shot, because I wasn't risking it.
Yeah. And we called for Randy. Eventually, Randy catch up. We started a timer because I didn't want to rush into it like we'd done before. So I think we started a 20-minute timer.
Yep.
And then moved like up the creek a little bit to try to see more. That's when Randy catches up, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go look at him." So he jumps the creek to go look at him, and I was like, "Well, it's my bear, so if Randy dies, I die." So I jumped the creek
Did
too.
Randy throw a stick at some point?
Well,
Yeah, like, so we got, like, I mean, because, so it wasn't exact, like, so I caught up to you guys, and, like, Josh showed me, like, he was like, "I think it's that little brown patch there." So, like, I looked at it through my scope for a bit, and, like, it was dead. Like, I didn't see, like, any kind of, like, heaving or anything. I was like, well, I'll just go jump across.
Yeah.
And so Josh like followed me. I was like, all right, man, like I'm pretty sure it's dead. I was like, hey, I got this stick. I was like, I'm gonna throw the stick at it, and if it moves, just shoot it. He's like, all right, I got you.
That's a pretty solid plan, though. I throw the stick, you shoot.
Yeah. And it worked. He was dead. He didn't move. So then at that point, I was like, okay, I think we're good. Like I think he's down. So, but when he fell, he was on all fours, so he kind of bunched up. He didn't look to me anyway. He didn't look as big as I expected. And I think being in like the water, the mud, he was real dark color. So part of me was like, is there any chance this isn't my bear? And we just bumped into another bear because there were obviously more bears in the area. And him not looking quite as I remembered, being covered in mud and bunched up and everything. So then we walked up to it. Somebody, I think Randy's recording. I finally touch it, which still spooked me even though I knew he was dead. And I grab his ears and pull. His face had fallen into that little mud hole from this little creek coming out. And I pulled the face up, and it's just this huge nose, huge head. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is my bear.
I do remember that. I remember like when we came up on it, it was like curled up
Kind of like
or
fell
whatever,
straight down.
and I was like, oh, it's not as big, like, because I remember seeing it on the trail. I was like, that motherfucker's huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe it's not that, but like when he reached and like pulled its head out, it's like he pulled half the head out of the mud. And it was like, it just kept getting bigger as the head came. It was like, oh, wow.
I have that video, and it's pretty funny to hear all of our reactions when you finally like see like his whole head, his whole face. Like,
So you have the video of that? I've got a video of it, of you holding the head up.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to have that.
Oh gosh, I thought I sent it to you, but yeah,
That'd be sick.
We were all starting to get the picture once you got unballed. That,
Yeah, so that was my fear. I'm like, I mean, at that point, the thing was roaring at us and coming at us. So, like,
it would have been defensive life.
It would have been a DLP,
100%,
if anything.
100%, yeah.
If it wasn't the same bear.
Yep.
But
it would have been Randy's tag.
What was it?
It would have been Randy's tag.
Randy threw a stick. I mean,
We get up there, and then all of a sudden, you seen it was hit low. And, But that shot had just folded it. Like it did not budge.
No,
a
it
second
dropped
after
just like someone had a light switch, just dropped it straight through the neck and then out the butt.
It went the length of the bear.
yeah, I think that's fun to mention too. That it was a 8mm copper hammer bullet.
Yep, and I put that on the review for the 220 grain bullet.
Did you?
Yep. Well, just because like that's kind of solidified it for me. That 8mm, because I just used it. I developed that round. Oh, for my bear actually, and I got those 220 grains, and it was just dialed in.
Yeah.
And then my bear punched through the shoulder, and it didn't go very far. But then for your bear, I did that, and then even this fall, I followed up on the moose.
Oh.
And the moose was hit, and then I took it as well, took the second shot, and just dropped it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was impressive. And thankfully it worked. I'm glad, like, there was no question, like, anybody who had a shot needed to take it. So, like, I'm glad that worked. So, but yeah, at that point, we were kind of in a hurry because of, like, your knee, how long it had been, worried about other bears and everything. So we took some pictures, but we didn't take a lot of, like your, I guess, normal trophy pictures.
Yeah.
So we were just in a hurry to get a skin and get out of there.
I got some good pics of you, humping it out of the woods on your back.
Oh, it'd be sick to have too. I think you did send me some. So
I'll airdrop all the stuff I've got to you.
That'd be dope.
There's some really good pics in there.
That was a journey. So, but we got it. Rolled over. Kind of figured out my bullet had hit the front left. I think it was the front left arm. Shattered the bone, went in and out the chest, but I think just too far forward and or too low to hit vitals. So I don't know if it would have been a fatal shot. His arm was destroyed, but I mean, it wasn't a vital shot. So, but we got him skinned. I think it took us an hour. Got him packed up on Randy's pack because me, being intelligent, didn't actually bring a pack frame. I wasn't intending to have to pack things very far. And then got moving. So I think it was 8 o'clock. By the time like everything was packed up, we started the march out.
So what was the distance? I know that at one point we looked at the elevation change, and it was
Randy looked at that.
It was something like
1,500
So
feet.
the elevation was like 2560, and the distance was a little over. Was it half a mile or
No, it was at least 3/4. So I Google mapped it later to get the distance, and 3/4 of a mile. So, granted, that's not going to be too accurate just because it was Google Maps, but it wasn't like a 10-mile pack out. But
the
it sure
elevation
felt like
change,
it.
2,500 feet of
Yeah.
elevation change over 3/4 or even a mile is a super steep
Well, yeah,
hike out.
it would have been maybe half a mile because we had to go back down the valley a ways,
Yeah.
and then back up because Randy had left his Carhartt coat on a tree partway down, so we needed to backtrack to go up there and collect that. So we took that route out, and that pack up, and I'd been up running for I think it was around 40 hours at that point. And so packing that huge head and soaking wet hide and everything, we didn't flesh it, of course, for the sake of time. So packing all that up that nasty hill was one of the harder physical things I'd done
You
at that
probably
point.
you had like 70, 80 pounds of skull and
Yeah.
fur on your
Yeah,
back.
I wish we would have waited when we got back to my house, but we didn't because again we were just in a hurry. But holy cow! And I always picked the worst routes. And my gloves we'd use to between like the straps and the
Yeah.
fur to protect it.
Keep
So
it
I had
from
bare
rubbing.
hands. So crawling on hands and feet up the hill, grabbing thorn bushes and stuff. I had thorns in my hands for like a week or two afterwards.
Yeah, you were a trooper about it.
Oh, it was difficult, and you offered to take it, and I said no. And then there was a moment or two, like an hour later, where I was like, "It wouldn't be so bad if you took it. Like, it would be okay."
But you didn't.
I was like, "No,
It was your
I got
bear
us
to
all.
bear.
I got us all into this. I need to do this."
And I sure was not. I was, boy, that was all I had just to get out of there.
I was just impressed that you went down to the creek and back up with your
Yeah, with the
fresh
bum.
ACL.
Yeah, my
Gotta
bad.
test it out, you know.
Yeah, I didn't have any excuse for being out of shape other than just being out of shape and old.
there at the end, we were like maybe 50 yards from the trail. Like we could see the cut in the trees and everything, and like Josh like falls to his knees and he's holding on two trees and he like starts apologizing like it's the end of a fucking war movie. He's like, I'm
Just
sorry,
go on
man.
without me.
I can't make it. I gotta take a break. I'm like, bro, just chill out. Like the end's right there. And he's like, I'm so tired. I can't move. I was like, bro, we just got like, just sit down.
like a
We're already
scene
here.
in
But I
Tropic
think
Thunder.
you told me to run.
You're my brother. You're my brother.
Yeah, but we made it, and once I got to the flat part, like, oh, this wasn't so bad. It didn't feel so
Right.
hard. It was just going up and over the downfall, and I always choose like the worst path. So there were times where I think like you and Randy or you and Scott would go left, and I would go right, and you guys would end up like 50 yards ahead of me, and I'd end up crawling over like a dozen trees that had fallen over.
Yeah,
Like, this is
everybody was
terrible.
picking the wrong route. I know at one point I looked back and Austyn was following me. I was like, stop
Don't do
following
that.
me. This is
You
not the
remember
right
that.
route.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a right route.
No, it was just
There'd get to a point where like I'd fall and get caught by all the brush, and I'd just lay there for a second, like, man, could just lay here and just take a break for a while, but we need to go because it's getting late.
Yeah, it was 10 by the time we got to the four-wheelers, so it took us 2 hours to cover that distance. But yeah, got to the four-wheelers and finally took the pack off, and that's when I could kind of like step back and appreciate the moment a little bit. I was like, holy cow, what just happened? Like it all worked out, but that was a lot. But yeah, then we collected our empty bags of beef jerky and mini Dorito cans and our chairs, packed everything up and headed out. 3 four-wheelers between the four of us. And on the way out,
Yep.
I just remember, I think I was listening to music, I had headphones on, and there was some sound in the music that resembled brush moving. So even though I was like on a four-wheeler leaving, like I have the bear with me and I have headphones on, I would hear what I thought was brush, and I just like spooked and looked. I did that once or twice. I was like, oh, I need to calm down.
You're in hallucination
I don't
mode
know,
at that
Yeah,
point.
very much.
Every like so after that trip, like every time we came out of there, like when we were going down
Yeah.
in for my bear,
Right.
like the other times I went, like every corner I came around, I swear there was a bear running there.
So
like, I was like,
the next time I went back to that spot, which I didn't want to do, like it was like, well, it was to get Sarah a bear because she wanted a bear, and I knew there were more, and she was super excited. At that point, I had a little bit of experience. I was freaked out. Like, I didn't want to
my
go.
first
I was
bear.
like, I don't want to do this. But she wants a bear, and I, want her to, she's an adult. I want her to have her adventure too and everything. So, like, we go back up. As soon as we turned to go down the four-wheeler trail, it's like my gut just sank, and everything in me was like, don't go back there. So the whole way back, I am just like on edge. And then at one point, the dog food, because I was going to restock it, falls off my four-wheeler. So I stop to get it, and Sarah's not behind me. And I can't hear a four-wheeler, and I wait a couple seconds, and she's not coming, and I just like freaked out. I like left the stuff on the trail. I turned around and went back that way, and I forget what happened. She like dropped something, and
I mean, hey,
I was
to
so
be fair
on
to my
edge.
four-wheelers, it was a legitimate like cause for concern because those motors barely make it through any of our trips
Yeah.
without problem.
Anything with a motor for you.
Well, I think it's me. I think I'm the
it's
curse. I really do. So, but yeah, got the bear out, brought it back. Randy, I was riding with Randy, so he dropped me off at the house. I think it was about 1 a.m. by the time we got home, midnight or 1. And we squared it real quick in the garage, but I don't know. Hides, it's like how much do you stretch out of them to count? Like this counts as square, and so we measured 7'7" nose to tail and paw to paw or toe to toe. So it was squaring 7'7". But again, like we didn't stretch him much. So, but the skull later measured a little over 24. 24 is the minimum for Boone and Crockett. So I have it back, and now we're just waiting on the Boone and Crockett guy to have a free weekend to come officially score it and see if it makes books still, because they shrink a little.
As I'm looking at that thing now and getting a better idea recently
Yeah.
of how small skulls look compared to the
Yeah.
animal's head with the meat and the fur and everything on it and the schnoz that's
Right.
gone now. Obviously, that thing is still enormous. It's
Yeah.
like an oversized football.
Yeah, it's huge and a ton of character. He had a scar down the middle of his face. His front left canine just broke off at the base, and his tongue was split in half, like 1.5 inches up. It was just like he had a forked tongue, basically. So just a cool bear. And then his front left paws, the 3 toes on the outside were short. The claws were shorter, which I didn't pay much attention to. But then when Larry, the taxidermist, was pulling the toes later, he told me that those toes were broken and then just healed, like refused back together. It's like that. Maybe another bear fight or who knows what, but he'd been around.
He was an old
He was an
warrior.
old. Yeah, he'd been around.
Can you imagine if you could see like all of the adventures that thing had been
I
on
know.
through its life?
That's exactly what I
all
think
the
of.
kills it had made and fights
Yeah.
it had been in. Like,
All that stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what I think of. That would have been cool. So many stories nobody will know about in a bear like that. But yeah, when I did bring it to Larry, he was talking, but he kept like randomly stopping and be like, look at, I think you were with me, I think. And he was like, just look at the head on him. And because he's seen a lot of bears, and this one apparently was a little above average in size. So, but yeah, that's how it ended. And went back with Sarah. She wanted a bear, and the only one coming in was at that point a small, like cinnamon chocolatey black bear. And Sarah being picky. Well, I say it that way because I told Sarah, I was like, do you want to hunt this bear? Like, I will stay. At that point, I was just like overjoyed there were no grizzlies coming in. I was to complete relief. As soon as I saw there was no grizzlies on the camera, I was like, oh, I could just sleep right here. I feel so good. And I was like, do you want to hunt this bear? We'll hang out. He'll probably come back. And she was like, nah, it's too small. So we left. And then I think we went
And
back.
then Randy went and killed that bear.
Randy,
Small.
Randy the
cinnamon
sportsman. Yeah, but I think me and Sarah went back there one other time, and that time I think we did hear some brush breaking. Never saw anything. More and more black bears started coming into the spot. One big black bear, and then a bunch of just pretty much every color phase was coming in, but no more grizzlies. They stopped coming in as soon as.
So you're going to hunt the same spot next year,
Yeah,
this spring?
I'm planning on it.
That's coming up in just like 4 weeks.
Very quickly, yeah.
I'm sure none of us are throwing barrels out. There'll be a ton of snow still.
Yeah.
But that's only a month away.
I know it's coming up quick, really, really quick. But
So what are you going to do? What will you do different this year?
okay, well, one, I bought a different gun with just iron sights, so I got a 4570, so I hope it'll do the trick.
What were you using last year?
300 Win Mag.
Yeah.
So
But he's using those soft points.
Yeah, oh yeah. Jacketed soft point, federal
Yep.
power shock, like the cheap ammo.
Yep.
Like, poor choice for that scenario. So I have different ammo, like specific round choice, and then a different gun, 4570. I will be buying a tree stand. I'm trying to look for a ladder stand that I can just leave out for the season and then pull. So those things for sure.
What kind of bullets are you using this year?
I would have to look. It's a Barnes, like solid copper for the 4570. I don't remember. It's
Long, is
VTX maybe. I don't recall exactly.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. So better than the jacketed soft point of the 300. So different gun, not on the ground is one thing, and then different bullet choice, and then shot placement. Which the shot placement thing, it's kind of related to all the other things because I was in a hurry and because I had a powerful scope on and all this stuff. So those are the primary changes I'll be making this year, and we'll see. I don't know what comes in. If black bears come in, then I'll just whack a black bear and then pull it probably. I'd love it if that white grizzly came in. That would be really, really cool.
You think that might have been a glacier bear?
I don't know. Like I looked into it and
The elusive glacier bear?
Those are down by.
No,
Do
because
we don't have those in interior
glaciers.
Those are the blue-colored black bears, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like gray whitish.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was because it was a grizzly. It was definitely like it had the
it looked
hump
like
on
a
its
grizzly.
back.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely a grizzly.
I talked to a biologist. I think when I was getting my subsistence moose tags. So whatever biologist was doing that with me, I told him about it, and he was like, "That's really rare, but they're out there." But he was really interested in it.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a thing. It's just not at all common. So I had never heard of that. Like besides in black bears, I know sometimes. And maybe that's the glacier bear, but for grizzlies, I don't know. And it really did look like a grizzly to me, like kind of the swooped, dished face profile and the humpback and everything. So, but hopefully it'd be cool if he's back there. Sarah still wants her bear, but it's having a baby literally any day now. So
I have a
probably won't
feeling
be doing
she's going to
that.
be hunting though this spring.
Yeah, you'll be on kid duty.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
She'll be out getting a grizzly by herself.
I want her to have her fun. So she loves it. She loves it. So, yeah, hopefully this spring. But if not, then I'm sure by fall we'll be able to figure out something for her. So, I mean, she got her caribou and she's like, she'd shoot another one, but she doesn't really like the meat.
Yeah.
So she's not like fired up. Like I'll go shoot another one or two this year. But, and I like caribou meat, but she doesn't. So she's like, maybe I will.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
So then what's your theory now? Because like we talked about before, a guide tell me, you shoot a bear, you go after him right away while he's running away,
Yeah.
rather than letting him collect himself
Yeah.
and try to bleed out.
Yeah, I think if you don't chase him right away, very high odds you'll never get him. So you
Yeah.
just have to decide. Knowing that, you have to decide, like, in this scenario with, who's with me and what gun do we have and what
Yeah.
direction do you go? Like, am I willing to take that risk here? Because if you don't chase him now, like with me, it would have rained, erased the blood trail, and we wouldn't have known. Like, go down to the valley and turn left instead of right.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, how far do you walk before you decide he's gone? And
Yeah.
so that would have been the scenario. I think if you really, really want to retrieve the bear and it's below your risk threshold, then I think you got to chase him right away. Unless it's like a really good vital shot and he's going to bed down and bleed somewhere. But because I heard mine crash and brush so far down the hill. So I think if we hadn't chased him right away, as naive as it was, I don't think we would have got him.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have ever found him. So, it's just a sketchy situation.
So I guess I'm wondering, now that you know what you know and you've
Yeah.
been through it, would you still have chased the bear, knowing how risky it was and how big this bear was and where it was hit?
Well, I'm biased because it all worked out. Like, yeah, probably. But again, I'm biased because it worked out. I mean, I think I would have done some things differently. I don't know.
It depends if Randy was there or not.
Yeah.
Because if Randy was there, we were definitely chasing the bear no matter what. Like,
no matter what.
like yeah, like even now today, I'd be like, yeah, let's go get this.
Let's go get it. Yeah. I would definitely be more scared than I was for sure. Like, it's still honestly a little bit of a tough choice. In the moment, it wasn't a tough choice. It's just like, he's wounded, let's go. But right now, it would have been like, okay, that's a great bear. Like, you can go a long, long time without getting a bear like that.
Yeah.
And if I don't go, I might never see him again. So I don't know. Maybe I would have waited till morning and then called you guys and then seen. I don't know. It's a little bit hard right now because again, I'm biased. I know it all worked out. So, but I definitely would have been more apprehensive.
Yeah.
You know, going through the woods. Definitely would have wanted a different gun. So, like, I didn't even have a sidearm. I just had my 300. That was it. So, there might have been bear spray buried in my backpack. But I mean,
like dirty fighting at that point. You pull out bear spray on it while you're shooting.
Exactly. So, I mean, I feel like the right, most mature, responsible answer is no. Like, don't follow it. But again, it's acknowledging that you're probably not getting that bear. So I think the big thing is just making the first shot count. Like, if that had been a vital shot, I could have left him, and I think eventually would have found him. You know, I don't think he would have gone as far. But it wasn't. It was just like, you know, broke bone and wounded flesh. And he was very much alive.
Like the way he moved when you hit him, like I thought for sure 100% it was vital. Plus, like once we found like when he was walking in between the trees and like at our hip height, like both sides of the tree were like soaked in blood. I was like, oh yeah, this dude's bleeding like a stuck pig. Like we said it for probably 3 hours. Like, he's got to be dead right around here. Like
I kept
I mean,
waiting
there's
to
so
see him
much
piled
blood.
up,
But
yeah, I mean, bear hunting is no joke. Like, it's cool, and there's a reason why it's like one of the bigger hunts in North America to do is these animals. You know, them and the coastal brown bears.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. And I still love it, even after this, which really should have gone wrong. Like, I still love it, and I'm excited. I'm more wary, you know, more precautions than last time. I'm not full, just like send it right away, you know, sitting on the ground. But yeah, it's following him into the brush. Like, after that, I read a bunch of books, a lot of them by Jim Reardon. Love his books. And time again, I would read, these old timers saying, like, you do not follow wounded bears in a brush. Or sometimes they would have to, but they would be on edge the whole time and everything. And then I was like aware, but I wasn't, like I should have been.
You have to do it very cautiously.
So cautiously.
Because it's kind of inevitable. Like, it's bound to happen eventually.
Yeah.
You're going to run into a wounded bear face to face, and
Yep, that's just making sure your gear is appropriate. Like I said, now I'm a firm believer in those copper bullets.
Absolutely.
I've seen what they do.
Absolutely.
That rifle, now the only thing I wish it was, or wish it had, was the Mauser action. But that's no different than Scott's 375 Ruger.
Yeah.
Like having the right rifle for the job.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I hadn't given that. I just I'll use what I have because I had the dope for that round, so I was using it for everything. So I had the charts for.
Well, I shot my first grizzly with my 300 wood mag, and I had 178 grain ELDXs, and it was just too close. So the bullet would just blow apart, and I think it was the fourth round. I finally dropped it.
Was that
it
the
still
one
wasn't dead?
in your yard?
Yeah, I remember I showed up.
House.
You had texted me. It was like the weekend after we got back from Kodiak.
Yeah.
And we were all wiped out. And you're like, I just shot a grizzly. And I'm like, I'm on the way.
Yep.
And you had, Tristan and, or who was who was two guys from Wainwright came out, and they had one guy had a 12 gauge, the other guy had a 458 SOCOM. But I showed up and we were cruising out to that adjacent field and found him like 200 yards away.
Yeah, and he still wasn't dead.
And he was very much alive and pissed off, and the guy with the 12 gauge shot him, like in the through the back, hoping to hit vitals. And
between the shoulder blades.
Yeah, hit him once and he wasn't dying. He hit him again and he was still alive but on his way out. And then finally the guy with the 458 hit him in the back of the skull with the 458, and that was it.
But it ricocheted.
Yeah, we get this thing up to the house, and after we got him skinned out, the skull was intact. It didn't penetrate the skull.
It cracked it. That was about it. The bullet started to notch into the back of the skull, and then it ricocheted out the top of the head.
In hindsight, I would love to know, like, what was he shooting? What kind of bullet did he have loaded?
It was the extreme penetrator.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah, it's just a chunk of bone.
Yeah.
The Lehigh defense.
I know one of the guys I went moose hunting with this year, he had the 460 Rowan.
Yep.
And like I shot a moose 3 times, like right behind the ear with the thing. And like I shot it the first time, like it got up and like took off running. Shot it the second time and it fell down and wasn't dead. Shot it the third time and like it was finally there. But like these were like point blank. Then like I'm cleaning the skull off. Found 2 of the bullets like just wedged in the skull right there.
That was a 460?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, and like the rounds that he had, like it was some special rounds that he got in town or whatever, but like to me it looks like they were designed to fragment. Like it looked like a pineapple or whatever, like one of those ones like
just Lehigh's.
Yeah, and like no, they didn't deform at all. Just straight like stuck in there like a.
I'm not a ballistics expert, but I think a lot of it has to do with velocity. And if you're shooting out of a pistol or a short barrel rifle, you're just not you're not getting fast enough to get expansion. But your copper doesn't expand a whole lot anyway. But
those ones are designed to not do that.
Yeah, well, we're coming up on springtime, so I'm going to have to figure that out for the 300.
Yeah, it's time to start making ammo.
Yeah, it's awesome. Trapping's done, and we're there already. Like I'm having a kid, so
You're gonna have time.
I'll have time. I'll have time. Sarah wants her bear so bad too. Though I was thinking maybe like later in the spring we could get away with a couple trips down to like Denali Highway, Unit 13, and just see if you get lucky. And that would be with 300 at a distance. We'll see.
I need somebody with a boat that can get me across the Tanner.
Looking at me.
I need to get to 20A. I feel like the bear baiting just directly across from my house is probably worth checking out. Got a feeling they're over there.
I can show you the raft. If you think it'll make it.
I think a raft would make it straight across. I mean, if you launch it. I mean, I don't know what kind of motor is on it.
Well, I have
An assortment.
12. Yeah, I have a 12 horse Honda with a shallow water kit on it. I need to get some more props for it because the one that's on is kind of beat up. But
there's only like 75 yards of river to get across.
Oh, you'd be fine. I've run up the Tanana a couple times with it before. So.
Oh hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can launch that from my bank or not, but.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's an air raft. I can pick it up and just throw it in.
It's hanging in the garage. You're welcome to it. So.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got an awesome spot. There's that other spot that we set up for John.
Yep.
And I would love it for us each to have, our own spot to go to. That way everybody gets their pick of the bear.
Yeah.
But I feel like 20A's got some bears. I know Rocky had a pretty good bear bait spot. He had a couple of them. And I don't know if there are a lot of guys over there baiting in my area. I don't think there's going to be much of anyone.
If we get out a little bit more, we'll be good. Because I think our spot, the reason it was so good is because it just got opened up for grizzly as only bear bait.
Right.
But I think it's close enough now because we had such a high success rate in that area between a few people that we knew. I wouldn't say high success rate. It was good. but I don't think now that they're just never been hunted over there before, I think it'll go down, but that might help the black bears as well.
Maybe. You think
Yes.
that'll affect maybe that whole stretch from your spot to my spot, that
Yeah.
whole area, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah. Because there were, just like Larry, he had, I think, 3 grizzlies brought in that might make book, mine and 2 others. But because, like, they've never been hunted over bait before.
Yep.
So in the past, when the grizzlies come into your bait, like, that's it. Like, you can't shoot those.
All right, they just take
Usually
it
it
over and
just
start
ruins-
chowing down.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
getting
People
fed.
just stop feeding because they eat so much.
Yeah. But now
I
you
think
can.
going through like 50 pounds a week on your spot.
I want to say it was more than that. Dang near. Close to
Well,
100.
I know when we went out, so we set up our barrel. It was out there for a week.
Yeah.
It was out there for a week. We came back and it was pretty much empty. Like when
And we'd put, I
came back in, we had to buy
think we did
3
100
more bags.
pounds of oats, 100 pounds of dog food, and then used cooking oil and lemonade powder. I heard was
Yeah.
they like this. You like sprinkle it on the leaves, and when it rains, it makes lemonade. And then somebody gave me banana powder to try this year, and you sprinkle it on the ground and then walk in it. And as you're walking out, it just spreads the scent. So I don't know. We'll try that. But
Yeah, just watch out when you're going to your little lawn chairs.
Bring them straight
I'll
in.
be in a tree stand this year. I don't think I would do that from the ground again. It's just insane how close they got without making a noise. It's just like seared in my mind, the image of looking over, and they're like
There's
this
death.
giant silhouette just like looking at me like, how did you get that close? It's like from me to that table. Like, how did you get that close? And then the sow, for whatever reason, I like made eye contact with the sow, so I don't have like a clear memory of the boar's head.
Yeah.
I looked at the sow, just his silhouette, and the sow's just jet black eyes just staring at me like, how did you do that?
Like maybe 2 days after that experience, and hearing you talk about the 375 Ruger, it was like 2 days after that I ordered one.
You got-
I'm like,
you got
I'm
yours.
like, I don't
Yeah.
feel secure enough with my 4570.
Yeah,
and
which is making me hope I made a good choice.
I
with mine.
think you're fine. I mean, people have been shooting bears with 4570 forever.
Yeah.
But I know when I shot my grizzly 3 weeks later, I shot him. He was walking toward me from the barrel, and he got hit between the shoulder blades. But he fell in place, did a couple somersaults, and grumbled and roared. And
Yeah.
but there's just a lot of velocity and copper going through them. So I feel safer with the 375.
Those are the stories I'm looking for now. is the ones you can tell in 20 seconds. It all went well. Yeah. But
Yeah.
It's unnerving even when we were going after mine.
Right. You don't know
Like,
what you're
I
gonna
didn't
get.
know where if I hit him good or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't
then-
even make it to our camping chairs for mine. we
That is
we were
true.
still like a turn or two away from the barrel. I just happened to see it through the woods.
We came in to pull the barrel because it was the last weekend. And
And
then,
what did your kids say about that?
What's that?
What did your kids say about your bear?
Yeah, so like after my kids have never seen a bear, so I brought them over and showed them Josh's bear, and then like a couple weeks later, I got mine, and the kids come out and ask me if I killed a baby.
Oh damn.
so unkind.
No, man, it's just a different type of bear.
Different kind of
And
bear.
then when we were at Fish and Game, they have a cub that's like taxidermied on the
Counter.
on the desk there. They have it. Yeah. Well, no, like Dallas looked at me and he's like, "Well, at least yours is bigger than that one."
Yeah, but you got one, and it was an easy day. It made my day too, because I wanted you to get one, because like you'd been coming out, with me and everything, which I appreciated. I was like, man, I want Randy to get a bear. So at least that you got one, and that we didn't have to wait. We just happened to see
it. Literally happened the way that like we hoped everything
Yep.
had. Like every time we drove out to the barrel, like on the way out there, it'd be like, man, it'd be so cool if we just walk up and there's a bear just like chilling
Yep.
there, waiting.
I'd heard so many stories about people doing that.
Yep.
That's what happened. Like we got there and like we turned the 4-wheelers off, and like we were about to take everything, and I was like, dude, let's just go check the camera to see if they've even been coming in. So like we just walked down with basically just our rifles and like came up and like I could just see the top of the barrel and then I saw like my barrel on top of it. I was like, got a shot and
Whacked it.
whacked it.
Yeah.
Was able to pick it up and throw it on the 4-wheeler. No story needed.
You got me there. So, but yeah. No, it was a good hunt. And I appreciate you guys helping me out, especially with your knee. I felt bad about that. But I apparently wasn't making any good decisions for that. Like,
It was a good
couple
time.
days. It was a great time. I loved it. It was so many bad decisions, but looking back, it's like one of the coolest adventures that I've had. Probably the coolest adventure that I'd had up to that point.
Well, it's getting to the point where you kind of read about that in like books,
Yeah.
like scenarios like that. Then actually, after that's when I finally bought my GoPro.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, like, who's going to believe that
Yeah.
you're walking through and all of a sudden a bear starts roaring at you,
Yeah.
wounded, and
That would have been
starts
cool.
coming at you, then you had to put a round in it.
That would have been
before-
very cool to have on
You
video.
Make sure that thing's on wherever you go. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's bound to happen.
Anytime. I have a couple. I just didn't think to bring them. So, but yeah, same thing this year. I plan on having those charged and handy, and hopefully I can just have it on at the right moment.
Yep.
You know, because like I probably wouldn't have turned it on before looking over, but that would have been so great to have. To like looking forward, nothing. Same as the last few hours, and you look over and they're like right there. Would have been cool to have, or like that last moment too. Would have been cool. So
How long is the battery life on some of those?
Depends.
I don't know. I have older ones, like a 7 and an 8. So
Oh,
I guess a new one would make sense.
yeah, it can go pretty quick, but if you got a lower resolution, you can get probably an hour or two out of it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
haven't played around that much with it.
Yeah. Coming up, though. Coming up.
Excited.
I know. More adventures. Thanks for listening to the Arctic Archives. If you enjoyed this episode, a rating or review helps the show reach more people. And if you have a story of your own you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it. You can reach me by emailing contact@arcticarchivespodcast.com. Until next time.